Hello YouTubers! Got a side job today. My buddy Les down at Papa's place needs a pot to smelt lead in. Mix lead, linotype, tin, and whatever else to make bullets. I got a piece of tubing. It is 6 5/8 on the outside. It's got 1/4 inch walls. It's a good heavy pipe. I got a piece of 3/8 to weld on the bottom of it. And then I've got this. Let me show you. Let's turn it over. It'll be sitting like this. You can see right here's the seam, and there's a little ridge on the inside, so I don't want that on the side you're going to pour out of. We're going to pour out of this side. I burnt this out. I'm going to weld that down here on the bottom, and then I got these little triangle gussets. I'm going to put those on there to kind of help support that, because this could get pretty darn heavy when it's full of lead. We're going to weld that on there, and that'll be a way of hooking something in here and tipping it to pour the lead out. The problem that I see with this is it's deep, and you can't get a ladle down in there to pour it into your ingot molds. So I'm trying to design it and build it so that we can pour, tip it and pour. So I got the seam here. I'm going to drill 2 holes over here and make a bale handle so you can pick it up here, and you will be wanting to use something. You're not going to grab it with your hand, put it that way, because this is going to be hot. And then I'm going to try to make an area over here that will funnel the lead into your ingot molds. So you can dip out of it until you can't dip out of it anymore, then we'll pour. And we're going to have, Les is going to have to come up with some way of picking it up and swinging it over to where the ingot molds are, and then hooking onto this thing and tipping it up and pouring. So first thing I'm going to do is get a line going across here, so and then measuring down and drilling some holes in here for the handles. The way I'm going to do that is I've got this thing. This will find the center of the. I can make a line straight across the circle, and I want to. It doesn't have to be exact here, but close is close enough. And we've got a mark on each side. Now I didn't grab a square. Here's one. We're going to square down there. With mark on both sides. Can't see back there. Sorry for getting in the way. Now, oops, I already got a measure. I think I'm going to go with about a 1/2 inch diameter hole. So I'm going to come down 3/4 of an inch. And that'll give us a good 1/2 inch of good steel on top. A lot of people use aluminum Dutch ovens and stuff, or aluminum pots to melt their lead in. That's not a good idea, because sooner or later the bottom's going to fall out of that pot, and you're going to end up with lead everywhere you don't want lead. So we're going to have us a nice thick wall, heavy bottom pot to deal with this lead. Now I'm going to go over and I'm going to drill holes on both sides and get them to the 1/2 inch. And then we'll go to the welding table and weld this on the bottom and these on the side. Be right back. Okay, now the fun part. Got 2 holes drilled in here, 1/2 inch diameter for bale handle of some sort yet. I haven't figured it out. I got it clamped down onto the piece of 3/8 for the bottom, and now I'm going to go around and tack it in place so that as I weld around it doesn't open up on the opposite side. Okay, where's everything at? Put a ground here on the table. Get everything set up right. Okay. Now see if I can do a pretty job of welding this thing so it's sealed. I got to turn this light off because I can't. It shines in the back of my helmet. I don't know how to do this. Think that'll work? Use some of these little gussets to keep it from rocking around. Right here's the seam. We put this on right there. Well, I think that'll do. Now we need to figure out how to make handles, but I think I'm going to let it cool down a while. As you can see, it's a little toasty. I think that'll work. What I was just doing was trying to make a little pour spout so you can direct the hot molten lead out of there, be a little more accurate with where you're pouring. It looks like that'll work right there. Now I'll just let it cool down, and then I got to make the handle for it. Okay, I have made 2 rings to go through those holes on the sides of the pot. And now I'm going to make the handle that goes up over, but I want to make a little loop in it, a place if you're going to use a chain or something to pick it up so that it'll stay in the center of that loop. So I've marked the center of this right here. I'm going to heat it up with my torch. and set it on my swage block, and let me get you zoomed in here so you can see what's going on. That worked really well. There's the loop for putting a chain hook or something on it to lift the pot. I kind of expected these ends, as I hit it, to be pointing straight up. I wanted it like this, so that's a surprise. I really didn't know what it would do. Now I'm going to go get the pot and bring it out here, and we'll bend it around the radius of the pot so it'll look right on there. And then we got to make, on the ends here, we'll have to make a loop around to hook onto those loops. Be right back. Okay, I got it zoomed in right there. There's a nice little pour spout that we made. Let's back up a little bit. And here's the hook to pick it up. Still a little warm. Now I'm going to heat these up and bend them around so they'll lay on the top of the pot here, or hang down out of the way behind the pot while you're filling it and dipping lead and stuff like that. So I'll get the torch fired up and we'll heat one side up and bend it down, and then we'll bend the other side down. Okay, we'll hold on to this, and I want to make sure that loop is straight up, perpendicular, in line with, I guess, the way I'm bending this. There. That ought to work. Now I'm going to let this cool off so I don't burn myself, because I'm sure I'll grab it. Then I'm going to heat this side up and bend it down. We will be back in a little bit. Okay, I ended up heating up both sides again after I got this bent down and evened them up. And I don't know if I mentioned it. I think earlier in the video I said I was going to use 1/4 inch round, and I got to thinking that thing full of lead is going to be pretty darn heavy, and I don't think 1/4 inch would have been heavy enough, so I went to 3/8. So my rings for here are 3/8 and the handle's 3/8. The next step is to let this cool off, and then I got to put a loop on both sides 90 degrees to the bend here, because it has to go around that, because that'll be in there like that. I'll straighten the rings up a little bit after I get them on there, and then weld them, and so they're closed and won't open up with under the weight and stress of the heavy lead pot. Oops, gotta make sure I bend it the right way. Let's see. How do I want to do this? Heat it up a little bit more, let it cool off too much. What I want to do is bend this now around this way so that the center of the ring is straight with the center of that shaft. And that little tube there that I'm bending it around makes a nice thing to put it in to heat it up. Now let's see if we can do it. See how the circle's now right straight in line. Now I want it 90 degrees. I think that'll work. I'm going to cool that off, then do this side. Be right back. Always use your safety equipment. Can't say that enough. Let's go inside, cool this off. Then I'm going to have to do some tweaking to get it evened up. I don't have any jig or anything to do this. So right now, I'm a little bit off. One side's a little longer than the other. This side here hangs down a little bit longer, so I'm going to have to do a little more bending on it. Okay, we're going to weld the seam shut so they won't open up while we're using it, or while Les is using it. Let me open these up a little bit. We'll hook them on there and see if it hangs kind of level. Well, I got the rings welded, and then I used a grinder to grind off all the extra weld that's there. Then I got my hook here on it, and it seems to be pretty straight. So I'm going to go with it. I hammered the tag ends down here so they're in and together. You see how this comes right straight down to the center of the loop. And the only problem I see, and I don't think it's going to be a big deal, is when this comes down, this side, you notice the hook here isn't directly in line with the hole here to grab it to pour it. But when you're holding it here and hook it here to pour it, I don't think that's going to be a problem. So let me get these ends welded so they won't open up when you got 100 pounds of lead in here. Who knows how much it'll be. But it won't open up after I get done welding it. That ought to hold it. There you go, Les. Now I got a packet full of some stuff and send it off to you, as if it's not heavy enough already. Thanks for watching.